Hi, everybody. It's Monday night. Welcome.
First of all, thank you all for being here as well. My name is Rachel Curtis. I'm the adult programming coordinator. Kathryn Kauffman. Miss Kathryn Kauffman, all the way from Lexington, joining us here tonight.
Welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discuss what and who we are in this journey called life. Shout out to all you guys over here on Instagram. Michelle Durbin, and special shout out to Joy. Good to see you here. Love to always see you on a Monday. Tonight, we're going to be looking at this right here, Soul Sucker. Really, really bad. They're probably the worst type of energy vampires that we're going to go into for this evening. We have done past shows about psychic and energy vampires, but this is a different classification because of the effects that the attack causes for the victims. And I wanted to get a couple of things out of the way. So, you know how I always do Fun Friday and the daily astrological forecasts and all that kind of stuff. Well, we may have a little bit of interruption in that kind of thing. Hey, to tell you more, good to see you tonight. We may have a little bit of an interruption in that because I'm losing vision in this right eye, and we have to go to the retina doctor tomorrow to find out, am I going to lose vision, or are they going to be able to do something about it? Now, if I lose vision suddenly, or they can't do anything about this eye over here, of course that's going to affect how much stuff I put out. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Shout out over here on Instagram to Scarlett and Kay Nunn and Fiorin Woods. Good to see you guys. And Kentucky KYG Strider, I think it is. And please forgive me if I pronounce something wrong because of the loss of vision over here with this eye. Sometimes I don't see what the word is correctly, especially if it's really small on the screen like that. Special shout out to Melissa Begley and her sidekick, Miss Cleo. Big kisses to you guys. Hope you're doing okay. We may have a little bit less viewers on Facebook tonight because I realized like an hour ago, that the show is going to be while everybody's cooking out. Like, this is the prime time where everybody's out in the backyard grilling. So, but it's going to go on, as always, it'll go on YouTube. So it's no big deal as long as you guys have access to the information. Big shout out to Rob. Good to see you guys here. Big hug back to you, Rob. Awesome. And thanks for the healing. So tonight's topic are soul suckers, and we're going to find out how they differ from a regular psychic / energy vampire. So real quick, let's go over the types of vampires real quick. And if you think that you've had experience with a soul sucker, please put that in the comments. Or if you have a question about it, put that in the comments, and I'll really try to watch the feed over here. Thanks, Joy. She likes my blouse. This is actually, I have to tell the truth, this is actually a bathing suit caftan, but I thought it was so cute, I'm just using it as a blouse. So, so let's go over the types of vampires really quick, of energy vampires. The first type is the martyr, and this person draws energy from you, energy and attention by their self-sacrifice. They're always sacrificing themselves, and they're always a huge victim. And that really draws a lot of energy out from you because, you know, in their mind, you're supposed to step up to the plate and save them, even though they'll reject the help. But what they're wanting is an extreme show of energy that you are going to fly in and take care of everything. And if you don't, then they even have more martyrdom. And it's really quite draining. So Richie says she's met several. Pay attention, Richie, because the soul sucker is the main one that causes a huge amount of damage. So the second type of energy vampire is the narcissist, and they expect everything about them to be first over other people and everyone around them. And it really is quite draining to be around them because you're constantly trying to figure out how to keep them in the driver's seat so that there's not a problem. So that can be a challenge. The third type is the dominator. Now, the dominator can be a really nice person, but when you're around them for a long time, you're figuring out that everything has to be their way. And if all of the others don't fall into line and let them dominate, that's when you can really feel the undercurrent of energy that's going on there. And it's very unpleasant, and it does make everyone around them uncomfortable. Hey, Joy and Lana, how are you guys this evening? Good to see y'all. So the dominator is one of those types that is really quite innocent in a way, because the dominator, the reason why they have to dominate everything is because they're so fearful and so scared that if they are not in control of everything, it really shakes them to the core. Now, what you've got to understand about energy vampires is that they're really quite weak personas. And they feed off of the energy from other people. So that's the dominator, and they have to be in control. Otherwise, they go off the deep end because they're so fearful from not being in control, because no one else can do it correctly but them. They only trust themselves to make the decisions and do things the way that they feel need to be done. And you're going to often see that the people in the family can't make decisions or won't make decisions because, you know, they realize that this person has that need to be in control of everything. So can be bad. The next type is the melodramatic person, and they're constantly, and you're going to see this person is constantly having some kind of drama, and they actually really don't know how to exist without the drama. Okay. And so even though you try to help them, there's constantly something happening or going on that creates more drama. So let's do some waves over here on Instagram. People on Instagram, can you let me know if the feed is choppy or if the audio is okay? Because on my end, it looks extremely choppy. I'm not sure what's going on with my tablet there. But I need to know if I need to work on the tablet or if it's just in the stream, maybe. These things are really hard to tell. So Rob says, these are traits of people I think your spirits and bodies. Excellent question. Okay, so Sherry says this hits her hard. Just lost 18-year friendship because I wouldn't let her control my child. Just turned 2, breaks my heart. That is heartbreaking, Sherry. So sorry about that, but I'm glad that you recognize the control factor and broke free from that. So Melissa says dominator, narcissism, and martyr is her aunt. I love her, but distance myself. And that's one of the things that you have to do for your own peace of mind is putting distance in there. Right, Rob? He's referring to spirits. Okay. There's 2 more types of the energy vampires that we have to go over. The next one is the judgmental energy vampire. And this is where their feeling of self-importance and self-worth is way out of control. They don't see other people as equals. They see people as rudimentary, and they don't give that other person the honor and the respect that they deserve. Okay. And so they are often, their self-worth is out of control, and they are extremely critical and extremely judgmental of others. So thank you over here on Instagram for letting me know it's choppy. I may just restart the stream. How about we do that? So what I'm going to do is push end and restart the stream. And so try and rejoin me. If the next one is choppy, then I will try and see what happened. And so it may be that my tablet needs an update or something. Not sure. And we'll try this again. Because it didn't say anything was wrong with the connection, but I'm looking and it's still choppy on my end. So it's still choppy, guys. All I can do is tell you that this is going to be uploaded onto YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. And so you might want to just join me on YouTube at a later date. Because something's definitely wrong with the stream on the tablet. Sorry about that. Okay, the last type of energy vampire that we need to cover is our topic for this evening, and that is the soul sucker, aka soul poisoner. And I'll go into why I call them a poisoner. And what it is they are spreading auric energy that is actually poison. And we'll go into how they do that. Let's describe a little bit about a psychic attack or an energy attack and why people do this kind of thing. So I would say probably 80% of all psychic attacks are not premeditated aggression, but these people that are soul suckers they innately don't like other people. They will pick out certain people that they do like and attach to, but often what kind of stems their attacks on people is jealousy, envy, and resentment of that other person because the other person has things that they don't have. Okay, and these are highly unhealthy negative emotions. So often attackers have these strong negative emotions with regard to the victim. And we'll go into what makes them a soul sucker. So these people attack a person. The difference between most energy vampires and a soul sucker is that most energy vampires they're not cognitively aware that they are harming another person. They just know that they either have to have drama, they have to have control, or they have this need to criticize others. So soul suckers do this deliberately. They focus on interfering with the targeted person's energy field, such as their chakra or their aura. And there are various ways to attempt this, and we're going to go into a couple you need to know about. But they deliberately send negative energy to the targeted person, whereas the other types of energy vampires, they do harm people, but they are not deliberately saying to themselves, I'm going to drain these people. That doesn't go on in their cognition. The psychic soul sucker deliberately sends negative energy to the targeted person. Now, a lot of these attackers use suggestive and hypnotic techniques. So the person who's getting attacked may not be aware of what's going on. So another thing is you need to really pay attention to when you're feeling bad. We're going to go over the symptoms of an attack, but be aware of who is around you when you're feeling like this, and question to yourself, is the same person around you when this happens or when you're feeling like this? And if the answer is yes, then you may have a soul sucker that is feeding off of you. So the symptoms of an energy attack are the following, and there are actually a lot more symptoms than this, but I didn't want to get too deep into it today. So really negative thoughts that are not your own. And if you stop and think to yourself, why am I thinking this? Because this has never been a problem for me before. That's a surefire clue that you have encountered this type of energy vampire. This one in particular, nightmares of being chased or violently attacked. And now these are repetitive nightmares, especially if you're coming into contact with this type of person on a repeated basis. If you have hypnotic sensations like you're spaced out, you can't think, you have kind of muddled cognition. Chronic lethargy is another symptom. If you suddenly have irrational fears that have never governed you before, but now they're governing you, that is a symptom of one of these psychic attacks. Feeling like a victim or feeling like somebody has placed a curse on you or black magic, that can also kind of indicate a soul sucker. Of course, classic symptom, feeling energetically drained, exhausted for no reason. And if you notice, there are very unusual happenings that have been occurring, like strange things. Like I get a lot of calls about people that say, well, do I have a hex or a curse because this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened. And they're really strange things. It can be an energy drain from a psychic vampire, or it could be a hex or a curse. So then we have to figure out which it is. Now, often people who have these negative thoughts that are put in their mind, it's thoughts that they realize are not their own. They realize the foreign nature of the thought, and it will really confuse the person having these thoughts. And often the classic phrase that I get is, I've never thought this before. Strange thoughts that come out of nowhere. Now, these soul suckers are very, very manipulative, and they're very good at controlling their victims by sending disturbing thought, mental images. We call them thought forms, by sending these disturbing thought forms. And what it does is it gets their victims to act out of character, and they cause a lot of mental disruption. Now, here's the dangerous part, several of the dangerous parts, because empaths that are not aware of their fluxing energy field, or people who are just coming into their empathic ability are very vulnerable to this type of energy vampire. Let's look at some of the comments over here. So Rob says cutting energy cords and several spiritual cleansings are required. This isn't something that's pleasant to experience. Absolutely. But wait till you hear the worst part, Rob. Wait till you hear the worst part. So empaths are super susceptible to this because, empaths, they follow everything on feeling or connect with their environment on feeling. And that is one of the biggest draw for these type of soul suckers. Okay, nightmares of being attacked. Let's get into that a little bit more, because when you're asleep at night, that is when your auric field is the most vulnerable. So the type of nightmares that people classically have is the victim being shot at, being chased, being hunted, being attacked, being viciously attacked. And that produces a lot of fear and panic. And so that's kind of what the energy vampire is looking to elicit. So some of the things that you can do to protect yourself and prevent this. So here's the things you can do. You can wear protective crystal at night, such as black tourmaline, and that's going to deter some of the psychic attacks that you have at night. Fluorite, surprisingly, is a very good one, because what fluorite does is it changes the energy fields so that the attacker or soul sucker can't really hone in on your energy to single you out or attack. Now, if any of you guys want to get some crystals, let me put this information up here for you for just a few minutes. I always get my crystals from Barbara Bacon, A Crystal Crazy, and there's the contact number for you if you need it. One of the other best things to use to defend against psychic attacks is labradorite. Labradorite is extremely good. I love labradorite for not only picking up on a psychic attack, but also protecting from a psychic attack as well. And I'll put this contact information up again at the end of the show. Hey to Nancy. And Taya says, Mimi, quite a bit makes sense. Yes. But wait till you hear what the soul sucker actually does, because this is going to blow your mind. Now, remember how they use a little hypnosis on you, the soul sucker does? How can you defend against this hypnotic state that they put you in? Well, the first thing that you want to do is interrupt that person as often as possible, because if they're on a train of thought and they've hooked you, they're reeling you in. And what you need to do is interrupt that and distance yourself as much as possible from that person. So Melissa was absolutely right by saying that she distances herself. So, hey, special shout out to Barbara Bacon and Crystal Crazy. And Barbara, if you would, I mentioned a couple of crystals to use to protect yourself at night. One being to wear a black tourmaline pendant, maybe around the neck. Use fluorite to change the energy field so that they can't hone in on you. And labradorite is a really good one too. So if you would, Barbara, to put some other things that you may have and even a picture in the comments, we would love that. Okay, back to the hypnotic, how to break up that hypnosis that the soul sucker is trying to induce to really reel you in. That's interrupting them, distancing yourself. Loud noises such as music or TV can really break the hypnotic control that the person is trying to elicit. And so any kind of interruption in the energy field between you and them is an excellent thing to use as a defense. Now, here's another one that I like to work with people on. is whatever your spiritual belief is, there's a lot of energy of protection that can come from that. And if you have people that you practice your religious beliefs with, like parishioners or practitioners, if they can really focus on strengthening your aura against this attack, that goes a long way to deter this type of empathic psychic vampire. Also, wearing a religious token around your neck, that is what we call a ward. And wards are items that are imbued with psychic energy, energy from the energy field of your body, but it has a specific purpose or action. And so that action or purpose is imbued into that item, and that's how you make a ward. And so these wards are carried or worn on the body at all times to provide that layer of protection. So now this is the real kicker. I'm going to explain how the soul sucker is different than the regular empathic energy vampire. This is how the soul suckers are different. When they're drawing energy from a person's auric field, they're actually leaving a poison behind. Now, okay, so let's go into how do they do that. These type of people are usually weak people that suffer from some kind of chronic illness, hence the need to draw energy from others. But usually the chronic disorders are major organ dysfunctions, such as they're going to have some kind of lung problem, some kind of kidney problem, or some kind of liver problem. Okay, they're weak. They're always sick. Everybody has to adjust their schedules around this person. And then, so what happens is when that sickly soul sucker is draining another person, when they puncture the auric field of that other person and start to do the drain, what happens is their energy has it's an energetic code for this illness, and it's actually left in the aura of the victim. And so then what happens is after the psychic drain is done, the victim still has that energetic code for the illness in their auric field. Then you're going to see the victim start to become ill or have complaints of similar nature to the soul sucker. Let's say the soul sucker has a chronic kidney problem, okay? And they are feeding or draining off of someone that they really can't stand because they're just very jealous and obsessed with that person. When they puncture the auric field of that person, they're leaving an energy poison illness encodement of energy for their kidney problem in that person's auric field. Now, that person's auric field is going to do maybe something a little bit different with that encodement, and the person who's been attacked will suddenly have a kidney illness that they've never experienced before. No one in their family has ever had it before, and it'll be unusual. And also, the soul suckers, you will see that people around them in their family and in the office will suddenly start to suffer from similar illnesses that the soul sucker has. So you will see people that wouldn't have normally, let's say, gotten a kidney problem, have one, and it can even cause a person's death. So these type of energy vampires are extremely, extremely dangerous. So you're going to notice that people around them are suddenly getting sick with similar illnesses. Again, major organ type of things like lung, kidney, and liver. They're extremely, extremely good at hiding their true feelings because they have an obsession of hate with this other person. And it can be totally unfounded. Like this person could be totally innocent of what the soul sucker is accusing them of. It's that consumption of jealousy that the soul sucker has that is creating this negative emotion or feeling. Let me check for questions here. Ina says, oops, I'm so late. Watch it at a later time. Don't forget, Ina, this will be uploaded to YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. So Nancy says, boy, you are nailing it. I had to move out of the house and my elderly uncle had the diseases you mentioned. He was killing me. Yes, they can kill you. Now I have an autoimmune disease that affects the same organs as him. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is Nancy, you need to get to a Reiki practitioner and have them work on your energy field right away. Definitely. Rob says, so is the vampire the soul sucker with the feeding off of people whom are, let's see, they doing this okay, Rob, some of them are doing it consciously, yes, and that is another difference between the typical energy vampire and the soul sucker. There's a group of soul suckers that don't really know what they're doing, but the difference is they intentionally are directing hate and negative thought and creating negative thought forms at a person. They'll often here's one of the things, they'll often engage in subversive behavior to undermine the person that they're attacking because of their extreme obsession and jealousy. Okay, so they know that they're deliberately causing harm, but they don't know that they're deliberately injecting this. I call it, it's like an energetic code, which is a poison for the aura. Some of them don't realize that they're actually doing that, but they do wish to cause harm to that other person because of their extreme obsession and jealousy. So they almost always are involved in some kind of subversive behavior towards this other person that they have the extreme hate for. Now, here's just an example. And the only reason I use women as an example is because I really haven't ever observed this in a man, but I have observed it in several women throughout my life. And I have seen several women who've been married repeated times. But the strange thing is, and it's their partners pass away from the exact same illness, which is that just blows my mind. So it's sort of like being married to a poisoner. Only they're poisoning you with this energetic code for the illness that they have. And so they are extremely deadly. The problem is figuring out who it is and what they're doing to you. And sometimes you're going to figure it out too late. Like Nancy, it's happened to me. I figured it out too late. So, you know, all you can do is try really hard to evaluate the people around you and what their true emotions are towards you, and really go on gut feeling. If you really have a strong gut feeling that somebody's being nice to your face, but they're really stabbing you in the back behind the scenes, that's somebody you definitely need to protect your auric field from, especially if you're having any of those symptoms that, you know, we mentioned a while ago. I also want to give you guys several techniques to use for psychic attack. The first thing is don't retreat, don't run away. The first thing is stand your ground and kind of bolster your energy. So you want to do a lot of meditations for strength and for shielding. Let's see. Hey to Helen Drinkwater. So Rob says, okay, one more question. So soul vamps are soul suckers even consciously doing this? Is it out of an absolute need to live? Unfortunately, yes. They are very weak people and very sickly people. And probably they would pass away if they did not drain people of their energy. But the thing is that when they puncture your aura to drain you, that's when this energetic poison is left inside of your auric field. It's like a poison. It's like an energetic code. It's a poison. So it's just bad all the way around. So first thing, psychic attacks, stand your ground, bolster your energy. Do some meditations for strength. Do not engage in emotional reactions with the person. That is one of the things that they feed off of the most. I made her cry, or I made her mad. That elates them. And they see that they've got this reaction out of you, and that makes the connection stronger, actually. So don't give them any kind of emotional reaction at all, because what they're doing is like fishing. They're throwing the hook out and doing this, and when you engage in an emotional reaction, that's reeling you in right there. Bang, you're caught. So don't engage in an emotional reaction at all. Rely on the strength of universal forces behind good. Get your aura cleansed on a regular basis. You can do this. You can go to a Reiki practitioner. You can use gemstones and crystals. And I'm sure that Barbara will have some suggestions on how to cleanse your aura with crystals. One of the best ways, though, I feel to cleanse your aura is either through Reiki or through acupuncture. And I always refer people to Blue Lotus here in Lexington. That's where I go. And that's the only place I'm comfortable with referring to people to go. Hey to Rita Fox over here on Instagram. Good to see you. Also, your friends and your spirit guides are there to help you protect your aura. You need to ask them for either maybe a daily prayer or directing energy towards you, especially if you're under active attack. If you are dealing with somebody like this, or you are having some of these symptoms like repeated nightmares and things like that, call your friends up. Send them a group text and say, can you put a layer of protection around me for this week? And usually that's enough to get you through beyond the current attack. So ask your spirit guides, ask your angels for daily protection, ask your friends to do a healing prayer for you for a week. Rob is referencing a really great psalm to use, and that's Psalm 91. Yes, Rob, when I found out about this really blew my mind, because, energy drains you can pretty well recover from if you know how to do it and cleanse and everything. But this is something totally different. This is extremely dangerous. It can be deadly. And, it's something that not a lot of us are aware of. And I think that we need to be more aware of these malicious types of people. So Helen says, I knew a friend that had done something to me. I did a really in-depth meditation. I actually saw black in being released from my body. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. Oh my God, you're so right, Helen. You're so right. I mean, and you'll be able to see that in your meditation. And Rob mentioned something really good here, guys, is your ancestors can be your first line of defense. So definitely elicit help from them. So Barbara says she's dealt with this a lot. It is extremely dangerous. So you can't be too protected. And my book, Carrying Gemstones on a daily basis, is something that is needed and you really should do. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys on psychic protection is not to and I think it's one of the biggest things is absolutely under no circumstances are you to connect with their energy. Do whatever it takes for you to disconnect any kind of thread of energy that goes from you to them. That's of paramount importance. If you can block, shield, prevent their energy from connecting with you, that's your best defense is a good offense. Okay. Thanks you guys for joining me. I hope this has helped, and I hope it prevents a lot of you from trouble in the future. Just be really aware of who you're around and the significance of their energy within your life. And if you have a strong gut feeling they're not what they say they are, or that they have a malicious intent to undermine you or be subversive, that could be something you really need to protect yourself from. So Lois says, so if the soul sucker does die, does the person they have been poisoning continue to have problems and need help? Yes. What they've injected into your auric field. Okay, so here's the deal. When they puncture your energy field, when they puncture your aura, and there, I really urge you guys to go on Google and search images of an auric field being attacked from a psychic vampire. There's lots of energy pictures that you can see. The person's auric field actually has a hole in it, a puncture where the energy vampire is punctured the integrity of the auric field. Now, the difference in the regular energy vampire is they just puncture the field and they drain energy out. The soul sucker, when they puncture the energy field, they're using their light energy to puncture. And their light energy is DNA light. And that DNA light is left behind sort of like an energetic code inside inside of your auric field. It's sort of like when a snake bites and injects the venom. If the snake withdraws and suddenly, you come out with a garden hoe and kill the snake, snake's dead, but that poison is still there. So that still has to be addressed. I hope that answers your question, Lois. Once you've been poisoned, that's it. You're left with that, and you've got to deal with it. So Lana says, where can I get your book? I'm working on it, Lana. I'm working on it. I will tell you guys, though, that the first week of June, and that's coming up real shortly, and I'm on the crunch to get done this webinar. I'm going to be doing a webinar on advanced psychic protection, and I'm going to bring you guys some new techniques that have been working extremely well. And they're going to be a huge benefit for you guys. So, okay, great. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Like I said, we'll keep you guys updated on whether I go blind or not. We've even been kind of joking about what kind of eye patch I want. And I was thinking maybe a pink sequin one. I don't know. What do you guys think? But, it has been, I've lost a lot of vision in this right eye for a long time, but I may lose it all. So we'll see. But I appreciate any kind of prayers and good thoughts that you guys could send my way. Let me put up this information one more time for those of you that want to grab some protective crystals. or you want some other kind of crystals to just kind of bolster your auric shield, there's the contact information right there. And I will see you guys next Friday for Fun Friday. And have a fabulous week. Don't get too hot. Kisses from Kentucky. Bye, guys.